Before you say anything, I know, I'm aware this looks silly, maybe awesome. It's a look, and I am nothing if not consistent. So hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Miscellaneous Gab, and this past Memorial Day weekend, I went and saw Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. This is going to be a very quick review, a little bit of in-between content. As I'm almost finished with my Dune Messiah video, I want to talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and overall just encouraging more people to go see it. I've seen a lot of people out there saying they hate it, saying they love it. Either way, it's not doing great at the box office, which is not a great sign for cinema in general. I saw it in IMAX and it was a pretty cool way to experience the movie. So with movies like this, I always recommend actually going and seeing it in the theaters. You won't be disappointed. Whether you like it, whether you hate it, whether you're ready to put a bunch of shit on your face like I did, be Furiosa for Halloween, chop your arm off, I don't know. Now, important disclaimer, I am not a Mad Max junkie. I do enjoy the Mad Max saga. I love the ambition of the project. I think it's such a unique way of telling a story, and I have the utmost respect for the franchise and the director. This isn't really a spoilery review. It is going to go over some things that happen, but it's not going to be anything that really gives anything away. Or let's start with the downsides of Furiosa before we get into the upsides. Okay, let's take the bad news first. In terms of downsides, if you are going in expecting a Mad Max Fury Road, you will be disappointed. In fact, I don't think anything ever can top Mad Max Fury Road. It's just simply never going to be done again. So why not try something same but different, which is what I think Furiosa did a good job of. You can tell that it's in the same universe, that it's in the same realm, but it has a different way of telling the story. It's not as fever dream, I would say, as Mad Max, where it really just feels like for the entire 2.5 hours you are on the road. This has obviously some more reprieve from actually being on the road. We get a bit more into the actual character development since this is a backstory for Furiosa. We get to see her origin story, what she's been through, her trials and tribulations. That being said, it doesn't have the same pace and excitement of Mad Max Fury Road where you're just glued to your chair the whole time. I can always tell with a movie that if I have to pee during the movie and there's something off with the pacing, that I will naturally find intuitively a slow part of the film to go to the bathroom. If it's a movie, it doesn't matter if it's 3 hours long, if it's a movie that's truly gripping, I will hold it and figure it out because I don't feel like there's any moment that I can physically leave the film. Did it pass the pee test? No, I did go pee during the movie. You go see the movie and you tell me if it passed the pee test for you. That being said, I think there is genuinely some concerns with the pacing of the film. I was not expecting to spend so much of the film with baby Furiosa. We spent a surprising amount of time with that actress. Now, I really like that actress. I think she played a good angry little girl. So I don't have any complaints because her presence in the film was actually when we saw more of her development and Dementus's development and those two together, which was probably my favorite part. Just seeing Dementus, seeing his early days, and his early days were her early days. I think the characters and the story and the world are so compelling that we almost don't mind if we're kind of lost in what's going on at the Citadel. We're lost in the politics. We're kind of seeing what's going on with Immortan Joe. All of that was so fascinating and so interesting to me that I didn't really care too much about the pace. The second critique, now look, I'm not a film snob. I like stories, okay? I have a creative writing degree, okay? If I noticed kind of a bad CGI moments, then you know that they were bad CGI moments because I'm not the one that typically is laser focused nitpicking on that kind of thing. Mad Max Fury Road is of course renowned for its use of practical effects, the stunts, everything. It's insane. Furiosa obviously relied a lot more on CGI. The CGI and the quality of the CGI did take me out of the scene a bit to notice, oh, the CGI is not that good. And then also at that same time, I'm having the thought, I'm not a pro at CGI, so if I notice, then something is going on. Some of the CGI compared with feeling slow at certain elements misses the frantic fever dream-esque nature that is Mad Max Fury Road. Now, I think these elements are integral to the world itself. Of course, we're dealing with a post-apocalyptic world. Things are scarce, things are hectic. When I first saw Fury Road, I called up my brother and I asked him, I'm like, why is there a guitar player? Why does Nux have smiley faces on his tumors? My brother was like, because nothing makes sense sense in this world. So why does anybody do anything? And I think that's one thing that Mad Max Fury Road did very well that Furiosa maybe didn't live up to, is just the absurdity of it all. The absurdity with no explanation of just, we're throwing you into this world. It is absurd. Some of the absurdity makes sense. Some of it makes no sense, but this is just kind of what the apocalypse, radiation, malnutrition, and resource wars do to humanity. It makes us a little freaking weird. The only other thing that was missing from the film, at least for me, is I wanted to see more Furiosa and Dementus together. That would involve changing the story. It's not necessarily a story, just how the story was told. It's the story itself, because Furiosa and Dementus, in a way, are different versions of the same person. Two people who have lost everything and have had vastly different ways of dealing with that. Wanted to see more of that parallel, of that foil, of that interaction. Their final scene together, if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. If you don't, go watch it, is fantastic. Okay, now let's quickly talk about the things I loved. So obviously I love the idea of going into the backstory of Furiosa. One thing about Mad Max Fury Road, now it didn't need this, but it didn't get too into the characters. You are plopped into this world just like the characters are. They're not making small talk. They're not talking about their childhood. Obviously, there's a lot more of background into characters, into how they became the way they are. The goal of this film is to talk about Furiosa and her life and her struggles and how she became the woman that she became in Mad Max Fury Road. So if that was its mission, I would say mission accomplished. I really enjoyed that they chose Anya Taylor-Joy to play Furiosa. I was really impressed with the job she did. I do have nitpicks about her as an actress. Sometimes I think she is playing kind of the same version of the same character across many different films and television shows. Overall, she did well. I did see an interview with George Miller saying that he even considered using Charlize Theron with a lot of age reduction technology, but he didn't want people to be focused on just the tech and how well or poor of a job it was doing and miss out on the story. By far, the standout of this film was Dr. Dementus, played by Chris Hemsworth. Here's the thing, I've never seen Thor. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie that Chris Hemsworth has been in. I don't like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In fact, I hate the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the most part. He was absolutely fantastic in this. I don't know if he's ever been allowed to play an Australian bloke in any major motion picture, but he freaking crushed it. I love chaotic villains. I love Joker-esque villains that stand for chaos and destruction without necessarily any rhyme or reason. Everything about the character, from the way he dressed to holding a little teddy bear strapped to him, the way he spoke. I have a newfound respect for Chris Hemsworth. On that same line, I actually loved any scene that contained a Morton Joe. In Mad Max Fury Road, you're plopped in and you're like, okay, a Morton Joe is clearly the bad guy. We know kind of why, how he treats his people. But to see actually what a brilliant strategist he was and just overall atomic badass in his early days, we know why people call him a Morton Joe. We know why 975 war boys are ready to off themselves in service to him. I think a Morton Joe and Dementus are such interesting contrasts to one another. A Morton Joe actually being a villain but thinking that he's doing the right thing, versus Dementus being a villain and just like not giving a fuck at all. He is chaotic evil and a Morton Joe is organized evil. Now in Mad Max Fury Road, there was so much between the Tom Hardy, Max, and Charlize Theron's Furiosa. We saw a somewhat similar vibe with Praetorian Jack and Furiosa. Praetorian Jack is the man who taught her pretty much everything she knew about driving rigs and road war. I also like that Furiosa adopted kind of a less is more attitude with these two, that they have this connection. They found maybe love or at least bonding in a hopeless place, but we don't really need the mushy gushy. I like him. I would say, like everything I just said about their relationship, I just wish there was just a bit more. We got to know him a bit more, or just got to see a little bit more of him. Fun fact, fact, that actor isn't Australian, but pulled off an amazing Australian accent. Now, I have Australian friends. I've been around the Australian twang. I've tried to imitate it. It is hard. I think that's kind of the reason why Tom Hardy wasn't Australian and was British in Mad Max Fury Road. So props to him. I just wanted to do a quick shout out to that. And then the other things that I loved was the flying scene, which is the first scene when they're attacking the brand new, sparkly, shiny war rig. They showed us so much in Fury Road about what apocalyptic road war means in the wasteland. This film took it to another level. We've already seen some of the crazy stuff, but Furiosa showed us a different element of that, how they can use these vehicles, basically a motor, in different ways. So the flying scene was incredible. I'm not one for super crazy action sequences, but this was absolutely gripping to me. I couldn't take my eyes off of it, and just some of the visuals and dynamics of that was absolutely stunning. That's all I'll say for Furiosa. Now, I just wanted to give my final thoughts. I want to do some of these, more of these shorter reviews. I'd love to hear what you thought. Overall, I just have so much respect for this story and the way that it is able to capture a story in so much motion and in just such a bizarre way. This movie might be missing a bit of that quirkiness and fast-paced energy of Fury Road. It still does a great job of building into the world, into seeing more of the wasteland, and to really understand some of the crucial stages that have shaped this post-apocalyptic world as we know it. If you like this review, please, please, please like and subscribe to my channel. I love talking to all of you on my videos. You mean the world to me. I have some more Dune content coming out soon. I promise. I'm going to do a watch along with House of the Dragon, which is coming out so soon. Like, subscribe, comment below, tell me what you like, tell me what you didn't like about Furiosa, tell me when you're gonna go see it and what snacks you're gonna order at the movie theater, and I will see you very soon.